You're reviewing A Most Violent Year. How violent is this year, Christopher?
Rather violent. It is set in New York in the year 1981, one of the most violent years in New York, statistically speaking. It is about Abel Morales and his family. He owns a heating oil company, and he's trying to keep as a legitimate businessman as much as he can. Even though he is a little bit shady here and there, he is trying to be a good man deep down. This is, of course, the second movie that we've had over the past couple of weeks with Oscar Isaacs in it, and it is truly remarkable for an actor like this to be so desperately different in terms of the characters and his abilities between the two movies. It is fantastic to watch. It is a movie which has this very weird yellow tint to it, which makes it feel very nostalgic, very much like a vintage movie, very much a movie of its time, which is aided by its soundtrack. Not like within Nightcrawler, where it feels very detached from it. This feels very much a part of it. Oscar Isaacs is fantastic to watch in this, to see his character be dragged almost kicking and screaming into a fairly darker, shady way of doing business. I also have to say that his wife in this movie, played by Jessica Chastain, is fantastic. She is this wonderfully powerful woman, a woman who is from a crime boss's family, who is very blunt, very clinical, very cold in her response to some of the troubles that Oscar Isaacs' character is going through. She, as far as she's concerned, would rather that he just became the Don Corleone figure and sorted the problems out the old-fashioned way, even though Abel really doesn't. He wants to stay clean. He wants to try and run a legitimate business as best he can, even though everything is conspiring against him. There is a line in the movie Godfather 3 which does remind me very much of the situation that Isaac's character finds himself in, which is when Al Pacino shouts, just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in. And you have this constant feeling that Abel, Isaac's character, is being dragged kicking and screaming into this world, this dark, seedy underbelly, becoming a gangster, not out of choice, but because that's all he can do to try and stop his company from going under, to try and protect his family. I found it to be a fascinating movie. The key word over the past few weeks has been metamorphic. Seeing Steve Carell go from comedy actor into serious actor, seeing that metamorphosis. Last week, seeing Eddie Redmayne physically change and develop from young Stephen Hawking into the old motor neuron disease man. And with this, seeing the metamorphosis of what is essentially a good man being dragged into this dark, horrible world that he desperately doesn't want to be a part of. He can't comprehend it, and it is wonderful to see that.
I can't believe that. That must be an absolutely amazing film to watch, just because of that reason.
It is, and it is beautifully shot as well. I should point out, just as an interesting fact, two interesting facts. One is that the company that he runs is called Standard Oil. Oscar Isaacs, when he was in Drive, played a character called Standard. I don't know whether that's a cine-literate reference there, but I think that's a novel little one. Second one is that when they started filming this movie, it wasn't really meant to be set during the winter months. It was just to be set generally in New York 81. But it snowed, and the snow adds what is known as pathetic irony to it. Yeah. That it is a cold movie, it is a dark movie. There is a movie which the weather adds so much to it. There's a moment towards the end of the movie where some oil spills down that's almost an analogy for the movie itself. For our main character, he tries to keep as pure white as a driven snow, but soon the dark oil spills over it and corrupts everything.
Oh, and that's a nice way to end.
Yeah. I honestly, see that movie, see A Most Violent Year. It's probably the best movie I've seen this week by a country yard. Absolutely.
Now, that's very nice. Now, you're sticking around to do Fatal Fiction in the next 10 minutes.
I am.
Can't wait for that. However, we've got Clean Bandit and Jess Glynn now with Rather Be.